The Last Horizon. Commander Kira Nakamura stood at the viewport of Research Station Europa 7, watching Jupiter's massive form dominate the horizon. The gas giant's stormy surface churned endlessly, a reminder of the cosmic forces humanity struggled to comprehend. But it wasn't Jupiter's mysteries that occupied her thoughts today, it was the incoming transmission from Earth Command that made her hands tremble. They've breached the Kuiper Belt defense line, Admiral Harrison's hologram flickered before her. The Nexar fleet will reach Sol in less than 2 months. We're implementing Operation Deep Dive effective immediately. Kira's jaw tightened. After 3 years of bitter resistance, humanity's outer colonies had fallen one by one to the technologically superior Nexar Dominion. Their crystalline ships moved like liquid metal, their weapons turned planets to ash, and their demands were always the same: submit or perish. The excavation teams are ready, she reported, pushing aside her fear. But sir, we've barely scratched the surface of what's down there. The energy signatures we're detecting through Europa's ice, they're unlike anything in our database. That's exactly why we need to accelerate the operation, Harrison replied. Our deep space probes detected something in the Nexar communications. They're not just conquering us, Commander, they're looking for something they believe is hidden in our solar system. The revelation sent a chill down Kira's spine. She turned to look at the massive drilling operation taking place on Europa's surface below. For months, they'd been following strange energy readings, cutting through kilometers of ice toward what they thought might be ancient ruins. Now it seemed they were in a race against time. I'm sending you Dr. Raj Patel, Harrison continued. He's our leading xenoarchaeologist. If there's anything down there that can help us, he'll find it. Within hours, Kira was leading a team down the main shaft, their heated suits protecting them from Europa's brutal cold. Dr. Patel moved with surprising agility for a man his age, his dark eyes bright with excitement behind his faceplate. The energy signatures are getting stronger, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka reported from her scanner. Whatever's down there, it's active, has been for possibly millions of years. They reached the bottom of the shaft where massive floodlights illuminated what had stopped their drilling progress, a seamless wall of black metal that stretched beyond their lights in all directions. Strange geometric patterns pulsed with faint blue light across its surface. It's responding to our presence, Patel breathed, running his gloved hand along the patterns. This material, it's not just metal, it's programmable matter far beyond our current technology, but the patterns, they're mathematical sequences we use in our own computing. Whoever built this, they knew we'd come. Before Kira could respond, the wall began to shift. Sections folded and retracted like origami, revealing a vast chamber beyond. The team's lights revealed rows of enormous cylindrical structures, each easily a kilometer long, suspended in some kind of preservation field. The ships, Kira whispered, on their ships. Patel's scanner beeped rapidly. These vessels, they're constructed from the same programmable matter as the wall, but there's something else. I'm detecting quantum signatures, artificial intelligence matrices far more advanced than anything we've ever. He trailed off as a holographic figure materialized before them, a tall humanoid form composed of shifting geometric patterns. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in their minds. Welcome, children of Earth. I am Guardian, the keeper of the Legacy Fleet. You have come seeking salvation from the crystalline hunger, those you call the Nexar. They too were once like you, before fear drove them to sacrifice their humanity for false immortality. But you have proven yourselves worthy by finding this place. What is this place? Kira asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Who built all this? Your ancestors, Guardian replied. Those who seeded Earth with humanity's second beginning, who chose to step back from the precipice of ultimate power to preserve what made them human. They left these ships not as weapons but as tests, tools to determine if their children were ready to reclaim their heritage among the stars. Patel stepped forward. The Nexar, they're searching for these ships. They seek what they can never truly understand, power without wisdom, strength without compassion. But you have already shown qualities they lost eons ago: curiosity, determination, the drive to protect others at any cost. The Legacy Fleet awakens for you. The chamber hummed with energy as preservation fields began to fade. The nearest ship's surface rippled like quicksilver, patterns of light racing across its hull as ancient systems returned to life. Commander, Tanaka called out, her voice urgent. I'm detecting quantum communications from orbit. The Nexar, they've found us. A scouting fleet just entered the system. Kira looked at the awakening vessel, then back at Guardian. How long until these ships are ready? Time flows differently here, Guardian answered. What matters is not how long but who will bond with them. These vessels are more than machines. They are living things waiting to join with those worthy of their power. Choose quickly, Commander. The time of testing begins. As alarms blared throughout the station above, Kira made her decision. Humanity had hidden long enough. It was time to remember who they truly were. The age of reclamation was about to begin. Forge of Destiny. Captain Junwei felt his consciousness expand as the neural interface of the legacy ship Starborn synchronized with his mind. Around him, the bridge materialized from flowing liquid metal, systems emerging from what seemed like pure thought. The vessel wasn't just responding to him. It was learning, adapting, becoming an extension of his will. Neural synchronization at 87% and climbing, Lieutenant Tanaka reported from her station, her fingers dancing across controls that shifted like quicksilver. The ship's quantum core is stabilizing. Whatever this technology is, Captain, it's rewriting itself to match your neural patterns. Through the viewport, Jupiter's massive storm systems churned beneath them. The Starborn had risen from its ancient berth beneath Europa's ice just hours ago, its kilometer-long form shifting from dormant cylinder to a sleek vessel that defied conventional physics. Now it hung in space, awakening fully for the first time in millions of years. The Nexar scout fleet has detected us, Commander Nakamura announced from Tactical. 5 vessels on approach vector. Their energy signatures match known Nexar dreadnoughts. Her voice remained steady, but Jun could sense her tension. They had all seen footage of what Nexar ships could do to Earth's most advanced vessels. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm from engineering. Captain, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the ship's structure. The programmable matter is still evolving, integrating with the AI matrix. Guardian says this is normal, but he paused. There's something else. The ship isn't just bonding with you, it's accessing genetic memory encoded in your DNA. Jun closed his eyes, feeling the truth of those words. Images flashed through his mind. Battles fought eons ago, stars dying, worlds being born. The knowledge of humanity's first empire, preserved in the vessel's vast memory banks, began flowing into his consciousness. Multiple incoming transmissions, Tanaka reported. The Nexar are broadcasting on all frequencies. The main view screen shimmered to life, revealing a being that barely resembled its original human form. The Nexar commander's body was a crystalline structure housing a consciousness that had long ago abandoned flesh for the promise of immortality. When it spoke, its voice resonated with artificial harmonics. Children of Earth, it intoned, you have accessed technology beyond your understanding. Surrender the legacy vessel and submit to integration. Resistance will only bring suffering. Jun stood from his command chair, memories not his own guiding his words. This is Captain Junwei of the Earth vessel Starborn. We know what you truly are, humans who lost their way, who chose false evolution over true growth. We offer you one chance to retreat. The Nexar commander's crystalline form pulsed with cold light. You understand nothing. We are perfection. We are eternal. You will join us or perish. All stations, battle stations, Jun commanded. Let's show them what humanity remembers. The Nexar ships attacked with perfect coordination, their crystalline forms releasing beams of coherent energy that could slice through conventional battleships. But Starborn was anything but conventional. Its hull rippled programmable matter shifting to absorb and redirect the energy. Weapons are online, Nakamura reported, her hands moving across controls that responded to thought as much as touch. But they're different. The ship is suggesting configurations I've never seen before. Jun nodded, feeling Starborn's consciousness merge more deeply with his own. The weapons aren't just weapons, they're tools for rewriting reality itself. Show me. Through their shared awareness, Starborn revealed its true capabilities. The vessel's quantum core didn't just power weapons, it could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. Space itself could be reshaped, time could be locally altered, and matter could be transformed at the deepest level. Target the lead vessel, Jun ordered. Let's remind them who they once were. Starborn's response was beyond anything they had imagined. A beam of pure possibility lanced out, not destroying the targeted Nexar ship but transforming it. Crystalline structures reverted to their original forms, artificial consciousness was drawn back toward organic patterns, and in moments the enemy vessel hung dormant in space, its crew experiencing humanity for the first time in millennia. The remaining Nexar ships recoiled, their perfect formation breaking. "This is impossible," the commander's voice crackled through the comm. "That technology was sealed away, the Great Division ensured." "The time of division is over," Jun replied, ancient memories becoming clearer. "Your kind chose to break away from humanity, seeking perfection in crystalline stasis. But true perfection lies in growth, in change, in the very mortality you feared." The Nexar commander's response was to order its remaining ships to launch their full arsenal. Space itself seemed to warp under the barrage of exotic weapons. But Starborn danced through the assault, its hull flowing like liquid starlight, each attack teaching it more about its ancient capabilities. "Multiple contacts," Tanaka called out. "The main Nexar fleet, they're accelerating their approach. Hundreds of ships entering the system." Jun felt Starborn's eagerness matching his own. The vessel had waited millions of years for this moment, for pilots worthy of its power. But with that power came understanding this wasn't just about victory in battle. It was about remembering what humanity had once been and choosing a better path than their ancestors. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them we've found more than a weapon, we've found our legacy." He turned to his crew, seeing the same realization in their eyes. "And now we have to prove we deserve it." The real test was just beginning. Thunder of War. The main Nexar fleet emerged from hyperspace like a crystalline storm, hundreds of ships casting prismatic reflections of Jupiter's light. Captain Jun Wei watched from Starborn's bridge as the enemy armada assembled into a perfect geometric formation, a legacy of minds that had abandoned chaos for cold precision. "They've surrounded Europa," Lieutenant Tanaka reported, her hands steady despite the overwhelming odds. "Energy readings suggest they're preparing to fire on the moon itself. They mean to bury the legacy fleet before we can awaken more ships." Through his neural link with Starborn, Jun sensed Guardian evacuating the research teams deeper into Europa's ancient facility. Commander Nakamura's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "Captain, I've gotten everyone below the ice, but there's something else. The other legacy ships, they're responding to the threat. They're ready for activation." "No time," Jun replied, feeling Starborn's agreement. "The Nexar won't give us the chance. We have to draw them away from Europa." He turned to his bridge crew. "What we do here defines humanity's future, not just victory or defeat, but who we choose to become." The main viewscreen flickered to life, revealing not just one Nexar commander, but a council of crystalline forms. Their voices merged into a haunting chorus. "The legacy fleet was sealed for a reason, children of Earth. Our ancestors knew the price of such power. Submit to ascension, embrace crystalline perfection, or watch your cradle of civilization burn." Jun stood, ancient memories surfacing through his bond with Starborn. "You speak of our ancestors, but you've forgotten their most important lesson. Humanity's strength isn't in perfection, it's in our ability to grow, to change, to face our fears and overcome them." The Nexar launched their attack without further warning. Hundreds of energy beams converged on Starborn's position, enough power to shatter a small moon. But Jun had been anticipating this, feeling Starborn's excitement at the challenge. The ship's programmable matter hull fractured into 1,000 geometric forms, each piece reflecting and refracting the incoming beams in a dazzling display of light and physics. "Multiple targeting solutions available," Tanaka called out. "The ship, it's suggesting strategies I can barely comprehend." "Trust it," Jun commanded. "Trust ourselves, Starborn, show them what we can do together." The legacy ship responded with art as much as warfare. Its quantum core pulsed, sending waves of probability through space. Reality rippled around them as Starborn rewrote the local laws of physics. Enemy beams curved back on themselves, crystalline hulls temporarily reverted to their original materials, and space itself seemed to dance. Dr. Patel's voice cut through the chaos from engineering. "Captain, I'm detecting massive quantum fluctuations. The ship isn't just fighting, it's evolving. Every engagement teaches it more about its own capabilities." Jun felt it through their bond. Starborn wasn't just a weapon or a ship, it was a key to understanding humanity's true potential. Each battle was a lesson in what they could become. The Nexar fleet adapted quickly, their crystalline ships linking together to form larger geometric structures. "Energy spike," Tanaka warned. "They're channeling power through their combined forms." A beam of pure destruction lanced out from the Nexar superstructure, warping space itself in its path. But Jun had already seen the pattern, felt Starborn's solution forming. The ship's hull transformed into a perfect fractal pattern, each layer existing in slightly different dimensions. The enemy beam passed through them like light through a prism, its energy scattered across 1,000 possible realities. Impossible, the Nexar chorus transmitted. Our calculations were perfect, unless their crystalline forms pulsed with sudden understanding. The legacy fleet, it was never meant to be a weapon, it's a transformation engine. Finally, you begin to understand, Jun replied, ancient knowledge flowing through him. Your ancestors didn't seal away these ships to prevent war. They waited for the day when humanity would be ready to transcend it. Starborn's hull shifted again, forming arrays of impossible geometry. Space itself began to fold around them as the ship accessed its deepest capabilities. The Nexar fleet found their perfect formation disrupted as local spacetime curved and twisted. We're detecting quantum entanglement across the entire enemy fleet, Tanaka reported with awe. The ship, it's linking them all together at the fundamental level. Jun nodded, understanding Starborn's intention, not to destroy, to remind. A pulse of pure possibility radiated from Starborn's quantum core, washing over the Nexar fleet like a wave of transformation. Crystalline structures began to vibrate in harmony, resonating with frequencies of change. The chorus of Nexar voices shifted, synthetic harmonics giving way to something more organic, more human. What are you doing to us? The fear in their voices was the first real emotion they had shown. Showing you another path, Jun answered. Your ancestors chose crystalline stasis because they feared death, feared change. But true immortality isn't in perfect preservation, it's in endless growth, in facing the unknown with courage and hope. Through their neural link, Jun felt Starborn's satisfaction as the transformation spread through the enemy fleet. The legacy ship hadn't defeated the Nexar through superior firepower, but by reminding them of who they once were, of what they could still become. As the battle ended, Jun looked out at the changed fleet before them. The war wasn't over, there were more Nexar coming, and humanity's journey was just beginning. But they had proven something vital. The legacy fleet's true power wasn't in destruction, but in transformation. In showing both humanity and its lost children a path beyond the cycle of fear and violence. The next phase would be even more challenging, learning to wield not just power but wisdom. The legacy fleet wasn't just awakening ships, it was awakening humanity's true potential. Hearts of Steel. In the weeks following the Battle of Europa, Captain Jun Wei found himself standing in Starborn's observation deck, watching transformed Nexar ships dock with the research station. The crystalline vessels had taken on organic patterns, their hulls flowing with curves and spirals that reflected their crews returning humanity. The integration teams report another successful transition, Lieutenant Tanaka reported, joining him at the viewport. 3 more ships' crews have accepted the change. There, remembering what it means to be human, she hesitated. But the deeper we go into their memories, the more we understand why they chose crystalline ascension in the first place. Jun nodded, feeling Starborn's concerned agreement through their neural link. The ship had been sharing fragments of ancient history, visions of the fears and conflicts that had split humanity eons ago. They were afraid of their own potential, afraid of becoming something worse than the crystals. The door slid open as Commander Nakamura entered, her expression grave. Earth Command is concerned. The transformed Nexar are telling stories about the original human empire, about powers that, she shook her head. Some in the military want us to awaken the entire legacy fleet immediately. They're talking about conquest, about ensuring humanity's dominance. Already following the old patterns, Dr. Patel's voice came from a holographic projection. The scientist avatar showed him working in Europa's depths, surrounded by ancient data streams. The same fears, the same impulses that led to the Great Division, but the legacy fleet's makers foresaw this. Captain, there's something you need to see. Jun felt Starborn's hull shift beneath his feet, the ship's consciousness guiding him toward understanding. Show me. The observation deck transformed around them, programmable matter recreating scenes from humanity's past. They watched as their ancestors wielded powers that seemed godlike, reshaping planets, folding space, manipulating the fundamental forces of reality. But with each display of power, they saw the cost, the slow erosion of empathy, the growing distance between those with power and those without. This is why they chose to start over, Patel explained, his hologram walking through the historical images. Why they sealed away the legacy fleet and regressed themselves to primitive forms. They wanted humanity to evolve naturally, to develop wisdom alongside power. Tanaka stepped forward, passing her hand through a projection of an ancient battle. But we're facing the same challenge now. The transformed Nexar are just the beginning. The main crystalline empire is still out there, and they'll come in force when they learn what's happened. Jun felt Starborn's response not in words but in possibilities. The ship showed him potential futures, branching paths that humanity could take. In some, they became conquerors worse than the Nexar, wielding the legacy fleet's power to dominate the galaxy. In others, they transcended the old cycles, finding a way to grow without losing their humanity. We need to understand more before we awaken the other ships, he decided. Not just how to use their power, but how to preserve our wisdom. Nakamura frowned. Earth Command won't like delays. They're already talking about military applications about. She was interrupted by alarms blaring throughout the station. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Tanaka rushed to a control panel. Massive fleet emerging from hyperspace. But these readings, they're different from the Nexar ships we've encountered. The viewport shifted, showing them the new arrivals. These vessels were neither crystalline nor fully organic, but a harmonious blend of both. Their hulls pulsed with living light, and their forms suggested a civilization that had found balance between power and wisdom. Greetings, children of Earth. The transmission came not as words but as shared understanding. We are the synthesis, those who found a middle path during the Great Division. We have watched and waited knowing this day would come. Through Starborn's sensors, Jun felt the truth of their existence. A faction of humanity that had neither regressed nor crystallized, but had spent millions of years growing, learning, preparing to help guide their cousins when the time was right. The choice you face now, the synthesis continued, is the same one that split humanity before. Will you use the legacy fleet's power to dominate, or will you help us heal the ancient wounds, unite what was divided, and guide all human forms toward a greater becoming? Jun looked at his crew, seeing the weight of decision in their eyes. They had proven they could fight, could transform their enemies, could wield powers that seemed like magic. But now came the true test, choosing what kind of civilization they would become. Starborn's consciousness merged with his own, showing him not just what they could do, but what they could be. The legacy fleet wasn't an arsenal to be used, but a key to understanding humanity's next evolution. The real revolution wouldn't be fought with weapons, but with wisdom. We need to learn, he said finally, both to his crew and to the watching synthesis. Not just about power, but about balance, about becoming something greater without losing what makes us human. The future hung in the balance, waiting for humanity's choice. The age of reclamation was ending. The age of transformation was about to begin. Dawn of Empires. The crystalline spires of the Nexar throne world glittered like frozen dreams against the light of three suns. Captain Jun Wei stood on Starborn's bridge, surrounded by a fleet that represented all of humanity's divergent paths, transformed Nexar ships flowing with organic patterns, synthesis vessels pulsing with harmonious energy, and the newly awakened legacy fleet, each ship bonded with pilots chosen for wisdom rather than aggression. The Nexar Emperor's message is broadcasting across all frequencies, Lieutenant Tanaka reported. They're offering terms. The holographic image that appeared showed a being of pure crystal, geometrically perfect, yet somehow hollow. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of billions of transformed humans who had chosen stasis over growth. We have watched your progression, the Emperor stated. The legacy fleet, the transformed ships, your alliance with the synthesis. You offer our people something we thought lost forever, the chance to feel again, to grow again, to be human. But you cannot comprehend the price of such freedom. Through his neural link with Starborn, Jun felt echoes of ancient memories, the fear and pain that had driven humanity to split into these different paths. The Nexar had chosen crystalline perfection to escape suffering. The synthesis had sought balance, and Earth's humanity had been reset to learn wisdom through natural evolution. Commander Nakamura's voice came through the quantum comm from another legacy ship. Multiple signatures detected. The entire crystalline empire is here, millions of ships across thousands of light years, all watching, all waiting for our response. Dr. Patel's hologram appeared, his expression both excited and concerned. Captain, the ancient archives we found beneath Europa, they're unlocking themselves. The full history of why humanity divided, why the legacy fleet was created, it's all becoming clear. The images flowed through Jun's connection with Starborn, showing him the truth. Humanity hadn't just been powerful, they had been on the verge of transcendence. But they had split on how to achieve it, some choosing technological perfection, others biological evolution, and a few seeking harmony between the two. We understand now, Jun transmitted to the Emperor. The legacy fleet wasn't created as a weapon or even just a transformation engine. It's a key to reuniting humanity's sundered paths, to showing us all a way forward together. Starborn's consciousness merged deeper with his own, and Jun felt the ship's excitement as ancient systems activated. The other legacy vessels responded in kind, their quantum cores pulsing in harmony. Space itself seemed to ripple as possibilities multiplied. "What are you doing?" the Emperor demanded, genuine emotion cracking through its crystalline perfection. "Not conquest," Jun replied, "not transformation, integration." The legacy fleet moved in perfect synchronization, their hulls flowing into new configurations that defied conventional physics. Energy cascaded between them, forming patterns that echoed the fundamental structures of reality itself. The synthesis ships added their own harmonies to the symphony of power, their balanced nature helping to bridge the gaps between organic and crystalline. Dr. Patel's voice filled with wonder. The patterns, they're creating a quantum resonance field across the entire system. The ships aren't just communicating, they're offering a choice to every consciousness they touch. Through Starborn, Jun broadcast to all watching. For too long, humanity has been divided by fear, fear of change, fear of death, fear of our own potential. The Nexar chose eternal stasis. Earth's humanity chose to start over. The synthesis chose the middle path. But now we can choose something greater, true transcendence, not through escape or domination, but through unity in diversity. The quantum field expanded, touching every ship, every mind. Those who accepted its offer felt their consciousness expand, experiencing the perspective of all humanity's paths simultaneously. Crystalline beings remembered what it meant to feel. Organic humans glimpsed the beauty of perfect geometry. The synthesis shared their hard-won wisdom of balance. "This is what the legacy fleet was designed for," Jun continued. "Not to restore the old empire, but to help birth something entirely new. A civilization that preserves the best of all paths, that grows without losing wisdom, that achieves perfection without sacrificing growth." The Emperor's crystalline form began to pulse with organic light. "We remember," it whispered, "we remember everything, what we were, what we could have been, what we can still become." Across the star system, ships began to change, not through force or external transformation but through choice. Crystalline vessels adopted organic curves while maintaining their strength. Human ships incorporated geometric precision without losing their adaptability. Synthesis ships evolved into forms that transcended old distinctions. Lieutenant Tanaka laughed in wonder. "The readings, it's spreading beyond the ships. The quantum field is reaching every human colony, every settlement, offering the same choice, not to remake them but to awaken them to new possibility." Through Starborn's sensors, Jun watched as humanity's divided children began to reunite. Not by becoming identical,